All right, it's time to talk about Jedi Apprentice Book 16, The Call to Vengeance. Now, in this one, Qui-Gon's kind of going rogue after what happened to Tahal at the end of the last book. So Mace Windu and Bant are dispatched to help Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's trying to keep the balance between Qui-Gon and the other Jedi. Bant's furious and blames Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon for a bunch of stuff that is actually very valid, but I won't talk about that here. So everyone's really upset except for Mace Windu. And this is interesting to have Mace Windu. In fact, I think this is probably his biggest book role prior to Shatterpoint, which is something I will be talking about very soon. But Mace Windu's he's going by the numbers here. He's doing what the Jedi are supposed to do, and Qui-Gon's just not doing it. So it's interesting to see him in control. This is one of the better Mace Windu portrayals in a book. For some reason, a lot of authors didn't want to put Mace Windu in anything, or if they put him in anything, they didn't have him do anything. It was like, I call it the Luke problem, where you have like a really badass Jedi, and you're afraid to use them. With Luke, it was always in the Bantam era, unless you were Kevin J. Anderson or Timothy Zahn, you tended to do have some sort of MacGuffin that caused Luke's force powers to be nerfed. They tend to be nerfed. So, like, in Planet of Twilight, if he uses his force powers, it's like some sort of storm will hit the planet, and so Luke does, like, nothing. Luke being brainwashed by the cult of Waru. So I recall that's what happens in Crystal Star. There's always something. With Mace Windu, it's like the only people that would touch him were the Tails people, and you don't want anyone in Tails. So we'll get to some Mace Windu tales really soon, because I have a lot to say about them, because they're just, quite frankly, goofy and weird. But you got Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint's kind of the definitive Mace Windu story. And his portrayal in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, also by Matthew Stover. This feels like that Mace Windu, as opposed to how he's written in Clone Wars Gambit Siege, where he's just pissed constantly. And it's like really weird, and he's like almost borderline out of control with his anger, because he uses, it's like Karen Miller read that he knows Vapad, and thus he's just angry all the time, but he controls it just barely. That's not how Mace Windu is. It's not. That's not how he is at all. He's cool. He's a badass. And like, he's one of the more competent ones in the room. In fact, in this story, he's the most competent one. He's the one in control. But at the same time, you don't want him to be there, because you want Qui-Gon to go on his path of vengeance. Which is awesome. It's an awesome dynamic in this book, and I really, really like it. If I have one complaint, there's a twist in this trilogy. I saw it coming like 2 books prior to this. It's pretty telegraphed, and it just shows that these are kids' books. That's my one complaint. There's a character that's clearly going to betray everyone, has been working with the enemy. It's so flippin' obvious. So, yeah. Anyway, what would I give this one? Give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's well worth your time to check out. Anyways, have a good one.